We are ready.
Good morning, everybody. This bright October the 11th. Fall was here, full moon, kept me awake all night, so we're ready to go today. Get on this thing. Is there any additions to the agenda at this time?
Yes, Supervisor. We have one addition under either legislation or staff reports. And it's a request we received Friday after the agenda was posted from the City of Madera requesting a letter of support for the Reconnecting Communities Pilot Program, which is a grant program that deals with State Route 145 in downtown Madera.
Okay, what's your pleasure, Board?
I'll make a motion that due to the emergency situation of the matter and the request to add it to the agenda
Under legislation?
under legislation.
Perfect.
I'll second.
Got a second? Any public comment? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Gonzalez?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Chairman Wheeler?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Any other additions? Seeing none, Madam Lawyer, will you read in the minutes for what we're going to do in closed session?
Happily, Chair and members of the board, there's one item for your closed session under Government Code Section 54957.6. You have conference with your labor negotiators. Your agency designated representatives are Director Noriega, Deputy CAO Joel Boguet, Ms. Carter, the Human Resources Manager, and the employee organizations are all units and unrepresented employees, all classifications excluding elected officials. Thank you.
Any public comments? Seeing none, let's go into closed session and go from there.
Other one.
We are ready.
Good thing the rec league hadn't. The rec league hadn't started.
Ready? Okay, we're back in the open session. Any reportable actions from the closed session?
Chairman, there is no reportable action from your closed session.
Okay, any open and closed meetings in memory of anyone? Yes. Brett.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I wanted to open and close. I found out just after the last meeting, that Kay Rhodes passed away. And many of you know her from Peck's Printery and working various different service organizations and just being a great member of the community. But we all really know her from her work with the Friends of Madera Animal Shelter, and she had done so much for the animals of Madera County, and just, you know, she would always keep us, hold us accountable, and I always like that from our community advocates. It's keeping us accountable, and Kay definitely did that and did it with a smile on her face, and just appreciated her, and just wanted to think of Velvet in this time, and open and close in memory of Kay today.
Thank you so much. Any others? Seeing none, invocation will be by Leroy Gaffney, who graduated from Madera High, was our great farmer down here at the end, Supervisor Poitras. I almost said Pistoresi.
Hey,
Because
close.
I was going to say Monty Pistoresi and Stelman Freddy. Will you guys lead the flag salute for me today, please?
Do it
Which
together.
one gets to say ready? Which one gets to say salute? We got to figure that out together.
So you go 1, 2, 3, and then start. Thank you, Leroy.
Good morning, and Chairman. Father God, we come this morning thanking you for the many blessings that you have bestowed upon us. Father, we thank you for your continued blessings on Madera County. We ask you now, Father, to bless and respect every home that's represented here today. Look upon this board, Father, give them a sense of oneness that they might get this thing done. Bless the issues that come before this board. Thank you, Father, for the continued blessings of Madera County. And for the bereaved family, we ask continued understanding and comfort for them. Precious and mighty name of Jesus. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 4,
Public comment. The first 15 minutes of each regular session is set aside for members of the public to address the board on any matter under the jurisdiction of the board, but not appearing on the agenda. The board will not take any action on any items presented under public comment. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. Anyone addressing the board is asked to print their name clearly on the speaker sheet at the podium and state their name and county of residence for the record.
good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, board members. I'm Brian Glover, the acting assessor for Madera County. I wanted to get this in front of you. I will be bringing it back as a board item on November 8th. But the California Assessors Association is efforting to get a new grant from the state that will go towards the creation of, as they put it, technology improvements that will benefit as many counties as possible. Previous grants have been awards in monetary awards to individual counties. The last two have had a grant component. This one is a $10 million a year for 3 years grant, but not to individual counties, but to a JPA formed by the Assessors Association with no match. So what the intent for this is to create a number of needed statewide, generally databases, but other programs to allow the assessors' offices to communicate more effectively with each other. The idea is the state will basically fund the creation of those, and at the end, the county will take over the maintenance cost of those. Just wanted to put this on your radar. There is a timeline. Ideally, the state would like to have at least 2 counties signing the JPA, which I just got off a call with, does not completely exist yet. But they would like to cut the first $10 million check on November 15th. So like I said, I will bring the full measure to your board on November 8th, but just wanted to kind of get it out there and let you know it's coming.
Brian, thank you for being on
Great
top of
job.
this. And let me know, yeah. And when it comes to the money, everyone doesn't, maybe not everyone wants to join the JPA because they want their own money, but I think this is a better way to go. Appreciate it, Brian.
Well, we're
And more
trying to
money.
make sure we've got some projects for you when you get there.
Right, put him to work, buddy.
The association won't let me engage in the, I'm not there yet.
Dexter.
Good morning, Chairman, members of the board, Dexter Marr, Environmental Health. I just wanted to kind of brief the board and also the public as well. So we received an advisory notice from Central Valley Regional Water Quality Control Board of excessive algae bloom over in Eastman Lake and Hensley Lake. And 2 of the areas of concern are the Hensley Lake at West Floating Dock and the Eastman Lake Boat Ramp West 2. So they do annual testing, or actually more frequent testing, especially on the algae issues that are been arising mostly in a lot of the lakes and small riverbeds. So they're tested in high volumes of toxins in this water level. And so what happens, the state has an advisory that they send to Environmental Health, and then we go and work with the lakes. In this case, we work with the Army Corps of Engineers to post signage at the lake sites. So I brought a few of the signs just to kind of give the public and ourselves to see how these postings are done. So depending on the toxicity of the samples that would come back, so if this at the lower level, it's just actually a caution sign that we post at the site, and it pretty much just says harmful algae bloom may be present at this water. It's also in English and Spanish as well. And then this level, which I just read, the 2 sites are actually in the danger right now, which the danger sign actually advised toxins from algae in this water can harm people and affect animals. So if you see a danger sign at one of these sites, recreation sites at Hensley Lake or Eastman Lake, please be advised cautionary. Thank you. Also, I'm sorry. Also, I want to also bring in another the fork fire that we're dealing with here in the county, as we're dealing with the recovery phase of it. Phase one, which is the household hazardous waste collection due to the local health emergency, that phase one has been completed. It was completed last week. So the Department of Toxic Substance Control actually went out to 23 parcels and collected all household hazardous waste from those parcels. And now we're moving into phase two, which is the ash and debris removal. I'm working with the Sheriff's Office of Emergency Services and myself and the state, and we'll have more information on the phase two and when that will begin. Thank you.
And will stage 2 start?
We're still working that out.
Oh, okay.
We'll have more information by end of the
Start
week
soon
or hopefully
then.
by next week. Yes, soon, hopefully.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jared?
Good morning, Chair and members of the board. Jared Carter, Public Works. Just want to give a quick update. Today, we started the first of 3 days work on Avenue 9 to install our rumble strips. The notice went out a couple weeks ago, I think, and we've noticed the community. So that work is happening, and there is closures out there that will happen between about 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. each day for the next 3 days. Unfortunately, as it happens today, there was a collision on Avenue 12 in front of the college. And so there is some road traffic control happening out in front of the college. In fact, I just got an alert that I think they're canceling classes today. But that is not related to our work. That's a PG&E thing that's happening to replace a power pole that was hit by a vehicle out there. So just wanted to give an update on that and let everybody know we didn't close 2 roads at the same time. I know everybody kind of thinks it's the county that did that, but that's not the case. So, but the closure will happen for the next few days on 9 to finish out that segment from the Santa Fe tracks down to Road 40. So
How many rumble strips you putting in?
all the way down the middle.
Oh, just in the middle?
Correct. Yeah.
Oh,
Same thing we did on Avenue 12 a month or so ago.
I
We're
thought
doing
you
that on
meant
9 and
these
putting
on the
that.
road, and I was thinking, oh, man.
Yeah, no, just
That-
the safety rumble strip down the middle.
Okay, down the middle. I better write that down.
Correct.
Yeah, we were finding a lot of the, from distracted driving, going into the next lane over was a pretty big problem, so.
Mr. Chairman, I just have a question.
Yes.
Jared, so what funds those safety improvements on Avenue 9?
So, Supervisor, it could be a number of funds, but I could tell you that a combination of road fund, Measure T, maintenance dollars, all those things play into everything that we do on our network when it comes to safety improvements, road improvements, and those sorts of things. So there are federal funds that can be utilized for those. In this case, we're not using those, but
we
do
use
have.
Measure T dollars.
We do.
Okay.
That's
what
incredible.
we wanna
Thank
use.
you.
Another thing on Measure T, why you want to vote for it. Anybody else? I got a couple. The Rotary Club having their annual bingo poker night, October 28th. The Big Brothers Big Sisters annual trunk or treat. That's October 25th. Monster Mayhem, the Elks Club are doing that on October 28th. And the How Dinner, which Leslie and I are helped sponsoring for this lady, Jackie Martin, and her 11-year-old son who has cancer and been spent a lot of time, especially in the last 2 or 3 months at Valley Children's. Thank you, guys. And then there's going to be the Mountain Area Bike Rodeo, Saturday, October the 22nd at the Mountain Christian Center on Highway 49. A lot of events going on right now, so mark your calendars. Any other ones? And none, we'll move to item number 5, consent calendar. Any questions from the board? And none, any from the public? And none, what's your pleasure?
Move to approve?
Second?
First and a second, roll call, please.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Gonzalez?
Yes.
Chairman Wheeler?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Trying to get my agenda open, item number 6.
Presentation of a certificate of recognition to Karen Palinelli for her induction into the Central San Joaquin Valley Nursing's Hall of Fame.
Beautiful.
Thank you. And she paused when it said Palinelli because there's so many letters after your name. MSN, RN, FN, PC, PAC, DFAAPA.
So she's a teacher?
It's just,
ABCs?
but it just goes to show Karen Palinelli, her dedication to her craft and to Madera has been second to none. And you see it through the good work that she's doing at the hospital and in the community. I've known Karen for many years, and when I saw her son Kenny post about this Hall of Fame, because she wasn't going to brag about herself, so someone else did, because that's who she is. She is just dedicated to serving people and serving this community and her patients and her employees. And so if she wasn't going to brag about herself, we were going to do it for her, because we're very blessed to have her here. And she was inducted, it was last year, but due to COVID-19, they weren't able to do the Hall of Fame ceremony, but it was this year. Is that correct? That's correct. And so we just wanted to bring her in. We have a certificate here from the board to recognize your great work and to thank you again for your service to our community.
Thank you. Yeah, I just have a comment. I'd also like to recognize Karen and as well Mark Foote. This is definitely a great honor for Karen to receive the award that she received, but her greatest, I think, achievements and greatest challenges that she's ever faced in her career have been the last couple of years as CAO of Madera Community Hospital. She and her team have been nothing short of remarkable. If you look at Karen on the outside, I can tell you that on the inside, things are churning, and I'm not sure how much pressure a person can possibly take. But Karen has taken that and has, again, it's been remarkable. The board has been very supportive and met with her a lot. But to run a hospital and to do all the extra things that she's been doing over the last couple of years to save the only acute care hospital in our region serving 100,000 people is, again, I'm not sure I have the words that can describe it. So I just wanted to recognize Karen for that. And as we do give her the certificate, I would like to, we're also going to have a ceremonial check, one of those big giant checks. You can't cash at the bank, but it's it's $1 million that the county from ARPA funds gave to the hospital for the pharmacy improvements. So we'll be doing that. And I'd also like to recognize the board members that are here today. We've got Monty Pistoresi. Nobody knows him. And then we've got another really shy person, Stel Manfredi, former CAO of this organization. We've got Anita Eden. She's Madera's premier volunteer of all things, with the police department and the hospital volunteers, and again, just a real asset. And then we've got somebody that works for the county. His name's Wally Nishimoto. He's also on the board and has made tremendous contributions. So those are the only board members I can see right now. I also have the pleasure and opportunity of serving on the board. So
I was going to say, hold up a mirror.
If you
There you go.
repeated it, they might fire you now.
Exactly. I asked for a raise the other day, and they said they couldn't give me one. So,
Darn it.
so let's go ahead and all gather here, and then we've got that gigantic check too that we'll have a couple of different
Wasn't
pictures.
it 100% raise from 0 to 0?
Right, exactly.
I just want to say thank you for the recognition, and it really makes it easy going to work every day doing the work that I do, because I really do love what I do. But I also want to, thank and appreciate our board that are the members that are here today, and thank Madera Community Hospital for really the opportunity to serve this community in the way that I've been able to. So thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Before we go any further on number 6B, we got any public comments online?
No public comments.
Okay. Now we'll go to 6B.
6B, discussion and consideration to approve and support a capital improvement executive steering committee and deferred maintenance capital project fund.
Hello, I'm Amber Mojica, and this is Raymond Huerta with General Services. So good morning. So we're here for discussion and consideration to approve and support a capital improvement executive steering committee and deferred maintenance. So I'm just going to give you guys some background. So General Services, we began assessing our county facilities to provide a comprehensive list of deferred maintenance needs. And in May, your board signed a letter of support for Assemblyman Bigelow's request for a one-time funding allocation for Madera County to assist with unfunded capital improvement projects totaling over $35 million. And this September, we received notification of a one-time $2.5 million funding allocation from the state as a result. So some of the challenges that we'd want to bring up that for our improvements, we always have limited funding and resources. We always have to address facility needs in a reactive rather than proactive manner. We always have to manage the interrelationship between reinvesting in rehabilitation of an existing facility versus constructing a new one. We have lack of revolving funds to allocate necessary costs related to deferred maintenance needs. And we tend to need cash flow loans for projects that are funded on a reimbursement basis. So I'm going to pass it over to Raymond. He's going to go over some of the issues we have with some of our buildings.
Good morning. Raymond Huerta with General Services. This is Fire Station 1. When the hospital was out there, this used to be a warehouse. And when I first came on to Madera County, we did some remodel out there and, added some panels and stuff. But the equipment they have out there is really sophisticated now with like electronics and stuff. And they've outgrown the electrical system. We can't upgrade it no more. It has to be replaced. And so it's like $650,000 to replace the electrical system. And that building does not work for them. So that's one of the issues with Fire Station 1. And this is the animal control was built in 1970s. They outgrown this facility. In my opinion, this facility needs to be replaced, but it still needs work. I mean, we can't get a facility right away, so the roof needs to be replaced. The mechanical system needs to be upgraded. The infrastructure, the sewer, the domestic water line, all that has to be.
No, we need a new building.
Yeah, that's a new building. We're just, dumping our money into that building that needs to be replaced. So that's the next one. And this is the Oak Ridge Library. In 2012, we did some upgrades to it. When the fire department moved out of there, we put the community center. And they also did a parking ride not too long ago. They took care of the parking lot in front, but the parking lot in the back has been an issue since 2012, and we've never had the funding to actually replace that parking lot out in the back. So that's some of the funds we would use that to replace that parking lot. And this is the government center. The government center has been open over 15 years. It's starting to show somewhere. So if we get into it now, I believe we're not reacting to it. We're planning the repairs. You can see the parapet wall, the membrane is slipping down, so that has to be taken care of. The boilers have been maintained by the maintenance staff, but after 15 years, we need to start looking at upgrading those. Again, planning it. The building, you can see the front of the building is starting to show some fading in there, so we want to come and get some quotes to paint the facility before it gets, or we actually have to do some stucco repairs or anything like that. So if we take care of it now, it'll be less expensive for us to do that. And then we always have the bird issue. We've done bird abatement, but we're still working on it. So it's an ongoing issue with the birds.
So what we propose is to form an ad hoc committee, a capital improvement executive steering committee that will help us manage these projects, and then also establish a deferred maintenance capital project fund for the 2.5 million allocation. So the goal would be to form a committee with members that represent executive level individuals from different departments with diverse background, expertise, and experience. We would provide a recommendation of committee members to the CAO. Committee members would be invited to join, but they can opt out or recommend a designee from their department. This group would be tasked with assessing and prioritizing the deferred building maintenance and capital project improvement needs of the county, and would provide collaborative governance of the deferred maintenance capital project fund. So the way it would work is requests would come in through the annual budgetary process for review and evaluation by ranking by the committee. Submissions would be, submissions would be ranked by the committee in conjunction with the deferred maintenance list. And then committee will be facilitated by General Services and will provide a list of recommendations for your board for review and or approval. So this deferred maintenance capital project fund would allow us to address needs in a proactive manner rather than reactive. The remaining funds could be rolled over annually and can be used as a depository for immaterial balances that often remain once a capital project is complete. The fund can be utilized as a cash flow agent for grant reimbursements or cash flow loans used for capital projects, which would help alleviate the impact on the general fund. And this fund can also be utilized in the event your board chooses to allocate an annual deferred maintenance amount. So this would help with priority, transparency, accountability, collaboration, and it would help us be proactive. And that's it. Any questions?
Any questions from the board? All I can say is so much needed, some of this work. Don't realize this building's 15 years old. Y'all should be in here, listen to this, because this is when it really promoted getting the board to vote for this. And I was lucky enough, since I'm a senior member here right now, that I was only in the old building for 3 months, and we opened this up. Been here from day one. So
Oh, wow.
pretty great.
Before Tom, none of this. After Tom, all of this. Yeah.
County Council.
Yes, thank you, Chair, members of the board. Just an item for clarification. The item is not to appoint the ad hoc committee, rather in the presentation.
Approve it.
It is to approve the concept, and general services would create and do all of those things.
Yes, correct. And then just to get, if you guys have any ideas, suggestions, we're open to that as well.
This is very similar to what we do in the IT world. Annually, we rank and get together to put together the project list in a similar manner.
And this committee would take input and actively go out to receive input from the different departments.
The way it would work is they put in an application, and we created this ranking form. We've actually already tested it with the animal shelter, and fire they did an application for us just to see how the ranking would work, and then it assigns up points to kind of give priority. We're thinking also of going and visiting these sites. If they're telling us to have any issues, it's easier to see. So we're not exactly sure 100% how it's going to work, but we just know it's going to be a collaboration of finding out the issues and finding out who needs priority. It's going to be based on safety, compliance. We're going to make sure it aligns with the strategic plan as well. Okay.
Any other questions? So we can make a motion to approve the concept?
Yes, as listed on the agenda. I was just clarifying to make sure that
Yes.
the board is not appointing the ad hoc. It's very clear from the presentation, but just a clarification for the meeting. Thank you.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Okay, any public comment? Seeing none. Roll call, please.
Supervisor Gonzalez?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Chairman Wheeler?
Yes,
Vote passes 5-0.
thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Okay, item 6C.
6C, presentation and update of public health performance and quality improvement.
Public hearing or?
Do we have public hearing at 10:30 or?
Let's see, we got, how long are you going to take, Sarah? A while? Okay, we'll go ahead and do the public hearing. 7A, we're going to open up now to the public hearings, number 7A. Karen?
7A, State Community Development Block Grant in 2022, Notice of Funding Availability, hearing to discuss possible applications for funding under the State Community Development Block Grant, Notice of Funding Availability, and to solicit citizens' input on possible activities to be included in the applications. Discussion and consideration to adopt a resolution approving an application for funding and the execution of a grant agreement on any amendments thereto from the 2022-2023 funding year of the state CBDBG program.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Jamie Bax with Community and Economic Development, and I'd like to introduce some of our staff as well. Annette Kephart, one of our planners in the planning division, and I also have Susan and Christy here from Self-Help Enterprises that assists with our grant loan portfolio management. So just briefly, what this is a public hearing to gather input on the use of our program income funds from CDBG monies. Basically, what program income is money that has been lent out for housing rehabilitation and small business grants, and those loans being paid back to the county, basically when either those properties are sold or if a bank sells a piece of property, they would then repay us, and we use that money as part of program income. So staff does have a recommendation for a project. However, we are more than happy to take any input that you may have and or the public might have on what we would use the program income for. We have approximately $300,000. I can get you an exact number, but approximately $300,000 to be able to use for infrastructure. And the proposal at this time, and Matt be able to go into more detail, but is for sidewalk services within Census Tract 1.04, Block Group 2. In Oakhurst, it's basically School Road to expand on and construct a new sidewalk along the schools in that area to provide basically a safe route to school. So with that, we're available for any questions you might have on either this or the grant itself. Thank you.
Any questions on this? The school road going into we got, what, 4 or 5 schools on that road, Matt? You went to those schools.
I did go to those schools. I'm a proud graduate on School Road. There are 3. There's the elementary school, the junior high school, and then the high school all access from School Road. The only thing I would add is, these funds have to meet income qualifying census tracts. This is one of those income qualifying census tracts in the county. So I just wanted to put that on the record as well. These funds aren't able to be spent anywhere. For
those kind of
for example, we do get a lot of interest in the community of Lavina. Lavina's census tract that it is a part of did not qualify to utilize these funds. So others did. But we will have, we anticipate seeing opportunities for these funding down the road in future years. But it's been a long time that we've programmed CDBG funds up in the Oakhurst area, and we have a main road that serves all 3 school facilities that do not have sidewalks completed on that. So that was staff's recommendation for the board.
And we're putting a new bridge in. I'll have those same sidewalks and stuff in there too, that which hopefully get started here shortly.
Yeah, I did want to point out that these funds, the funding amount, will not complete all of the sidewalks for the stretch of this facility, but it'll get it started. There are some sidewalks out there that exist today, so this will connect some of the gaps in those and build on those. But there's still a significant stretch of roadway that would be in need of sidewalks to get completed throughout it. But this is a good start.
Oh, I'm sorry. Supervisor Gonzalez.
Yes, thank you. Matt, these are the same funds that helped with the street improvements over in the Parkwood area a couple years ago?
Yes, those were also CDBG funds. That was a little larger, but yes, that was same funding category.
That was in a couple million or something, wasn't it?
It was about 1.6 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, great project. I'm glad that the money is being spread. So thank you for that.
Well, we tried to get some of those going so that we could really help the citizens out there for a couple times. So that we do have to spread it around the whole county. So any questions from the public? Any online?
Chair, you might want to open the public hearing.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we'll open the public hearing now. Anybody from the public? Anybody online?
Nobody online.
Okay. Close the public hearing, bring it back to board, and I'm going to make the motion to approve 7A.
Second.
Second, roll call, please.
Chairman Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Gonzalez?
Yes.
Vote passes
Yes,
5-0.
say no.
I was
So like in Lavinia, if you can, because the census tracts are so large, they pick up, it's the same reason why we have to do the notice of convenience, right? Because our census tracts are not tight little things that just are able to identify just one area. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. I mean, Lavina is part of I believe it's our largest census tract in this county that wraps all the way around and encompasses Tesoro Viejo, as well as all of Valley Children's and portions of Riverstone. So
and we don't set those.
we
We
do
don't
not.
set those,
That
no,
is the federal government. So yeah, we have some large census tracts that skew a lot of things, right? You see licensing that comes forth that are based on densities within those census tracts. So it does, right? We hope to see
zones and everything.
Yep, absolutely. And so thanks to our partnership with Self-Help, right? We hope to see some more of these dollars flow in and used throughout the county, right? There is a strong demand, but again, this sidewalk improvement project be a good one for the community up there in Oakhurst. So thank you.
For the kids. Okay. Any other questions? Said and done. We'll go now to 6D. 6C, I mean. Thank you guys very much. Thank you, Self-Help. Really appreciate what you guys do.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman,
Good morning.
Board of Supervisors, Sarah BOS, Public Health Director. And I'm here with an update to our strategic plan, an actual final report of the current strategic plan that we have in place. Let me just cue up the PowerPoint. Here we go. So this slide, which you've seen several times, we always include it in our PowerPoint presentations with the department, actually was developed as part of our strategic plan. So you'll see there the vision, mission, and guiding principles of the department. This annual report, if you recall, is of the first ever strategic plan for our department. And the planning process was held starting in December of 2017, when I was brand new to the department. And it took us about a year and a half to complete that strategic planning process because it did involve all levels of staff, executive team, managers, emerging leaders, line staff. And in that process, we updated the mission, vision, values. We did a SWOT analysis, of workforce development assessment, and went through the process of selecting strategic priorities and goals that were accompanied by measurable objectives. So the purpose of the plan was really to establish those strategic priorities for the department for a 2-year time period and guide the actions of the department, and enables us to be responsive and accountable to the community. So the plan was adopted in June of 2019, if you recall, and we have monitored it on an annual basis. It was extended. It was supposed to end in December. We extended it until June of 2022, mostly due to COVID. But what's really exciting to me is seeing that even though a plan that did not include COVID was 3/4 accomplished of the total plan, 76% of our activities in the strategic plan were accomplished. And COVID actually helped propel a lot of those things because it included advances in technology and different projects that COVID actually pushed forward more quickly. There were 6 strategic priorities: community health improvement, data-driven action and quality improvement, department efficiency, funding stability, workforce development, and developing the Madera County brand, which had already largely been developed and that public health was able to tuck into. There were 3 areas in which we really were the strongest: data-driven action and quality improvement, and we'll talk a little bit about a couple quality improvement projects that we completed, in addition to the ones that you've heard about before, and certainly a lot of department efficiencies. I mentioned IT. We worked closely with county IT during this process and also hired a lot of staff and added an informatics team that really helped us with our data. And then the third, in terms of brand, was a place in which Madera County Public Health really stood out. We worked really closely with the PIT team throughout COVID. Melissa De Silva was really a part of the team that worked really closely with public health. But we've been acknowledged by the state in terms of our branding and our public communication, repeatedly highlighted in state calls. If you recall, the LA Times came and did a piece on Madera County, and we have really expanded our Spanish language media presence. Other highlights include that we have applied and been awarded multiple grants outside of COVID, which include REACH, our CMSP grants that are really targeted to vulnerable populations. We completed first ever assessments for the department on workforce development as well as equity. We really expanded our coalition for Live Well Madera County, again, propelled forward by COVID, but had already begun to expand prior to that. We had a couple policy wins during this time. Smoke-free parks ordinances were adopted by both of our cities in the county of Madera, and we are in the process of working with the county on passing a similar policy. And number 5, I'm really excited to talk about We submitted our documentation to the Public Health Accreditation Board, as you know, and Monday is the first day of our site visit. And then on the 26th, there's an in-person aspect of that site visit, and that's the final step before the decision goes before accreditation board and we have a decision. This is 7 years in the making in Madera County.
Wow.
And we're really, really excited about being in this final leg. And from the feedback we've received so far, we're in good shape for this site visit. And just want to highlight that we do have a performance management system. Every department is required to set performance targets and objectives, and then monitor the progress of those performance metrics on a monthly and quarterly basis toward progressing towards targets that have been established. And this is not a punitive process. The goal is to improve. So a program that's not meeting a performance target is able to do further analysis, look at that data, and then propose quality improvement projects around how they can actually get to those targets. I have with me a couple of team members that are going to talk about quality improvement projects that have been completed in the last few months. So first, I'll introduce Natalie Stein.
Good morning, Natalie Stein. I'm a program manager with Public Health, and I've been in the department for 23 years. So I've been here since the beginning and 3 different directors. So back in 2019, we realized that we were seeing a deficit of referrals. I oversee our home visitation program, and I work closely with WIC, which is our Women, Infants, and Children's Department. So we had an old process, written referrals, multiple forms that were out in the community, and we were, needing referrals for our programs. We wanted to streamline the process and make it easier, go paperless, no more paper forms floating in from faxes, emails, and, just through the mail. Really slow process. So we decided to work with Madera Community Hospital because back in 2020, we weren't receiving any referrals. So we teamed up with their labor and delivery department, their social worker who sees new moms when they deliver. So we teamed up with WIC, the REACH program, and MCAH, which is the Maternal Child Adolescent Health Program that I oversee. So we wanted to streamline the process and increase referrals to our programs, specifically for WIC, for breastfeeding services and any nutritional services that they provide, and home visitation programs for us, so we can see the most families in need and provide that education to the families. So we worked with IT. They established a PH referrals inbox, and we got that out to the hospital and worked directly with them first to start the process. We took all the old forms, combined them into one, made it a fillable form that their staff over in labor delivery could just fill out and then send to our inbox. So as you can see, 2020, we had 0 referrals. 2021, it went up to over 250. And then by just the first 9 months of this year, we have over 289 referrals just coming from our MCH, Madera Community Hospital. That's just from them. We're seeing more referrals from the schools for our teen pregnancy programs. We're getting referrals from a lot of different community agencies that we work with, Head Start, Community Action Partnership, First Five. So we really are excited that this updated system is working, and we're trying to get out to the rest of our collaborative partners and increase referrals so we can see and serve the most needed families either in WIC or with our home visitation program. Any questions?
Do those go up in like the building so people know where everything is happening? And
Yes, so we're going to be putting up these in our hallways.
okay.
Yes.
So I think you can see the power of quality improvement project when we're really data driven and we're oriented around really meeting specific performance measures. And we'll highlight another one, but as she said, we put these up in the hallway. Staff are able to see how the projects work and get ideas about how they might be able to measure their own quality in how they're delivering their services and how we can improve from there. Now I'll introduce Laura Barra with our HIV program.
Morning, Chair, board members. My name is Laura Vera, and I work with the HIV. So I've been working for the county for 25 years. Yeah, a long time. In 2021, I was promoted to work for the HIV program. Basically, I started with communicable diseases, and I was approached by my program manager if I was interested in learning about HIV. And I'll be honest, I was a little bit afraid. I'm thinking I'm gonna see people sick all the time and they're not gonna thrive, and I didn't wanna take that home. But I figure I can always say no, thank you, but I'll give it a try. So I started training in April 2021, and I was amazed of all the progress on medication and how these people can actually thrive and treat HIV as a chronic condition and not a death sentence like it was back in the day. And I started meeting our clients, and I actually fell in love with the program. So what happened on 2020 with the pandemic, the staff member that was in charge of HIV was either redirected to work for COVID or she was absent because of medical issues. And by law, we're supposed to report any new diagnosis of HIV within 45 days. We're supposed to report them to the state. Because of those reasons, there was a couple of instances that those reports didn't go through in a timely manner, and it took more than 45 days. When they assessed the problem, the issue was not that the person wasn't doing her job, is that she wasn't available at the time, and it was brought to attention they needed a second staff member to be trained. Now, you have to have access from the state in order to access those systems. And there was, we requested access and started being able to train on doing those reports. In late 2021, after training with Liliana Sapien, which is my coworker, I was able to start doing the reporting myself. For the most part of December of 2021, I did all the reporting. She was there, and I was able to ask her questions, get more feedback on things that I needed or things that I didn't understand. And all the reporting in December was done by me, just so I could get more experience. In 2021, we received 14 cases, and 14 cases got reported within the time allowed. The average was 12 days. So we were able to meet our goal, which was to stay within the 30 days, and we improved reducing the time that it took us to do those reports. So the project was successful, and we basically recognized we need to have more people trained to do those roles that they're important. Any questions?
Great job. I mean, and do you like what you're doing?
You know what? Yes, I do.
It paid off then, huh?
It did pay off. So for working in the same program for 24 years, I decided that it was a time of my life. I don't have kids at home. I can learn something new, right, and take a new challenge. And it was a new challenge because it's so much to learn about HIV, not only HIV, but even communicable diseases, that it is very rewarding because you are able to see people, that you're making a difference in people's lives. Yeah. They're staying healthy, they're living longer lives. So now we have people living with HIV, they're in their 60s, when before they didn't live past their 30s. So it's very rewarding.
I always, my motto is if I can't learn something every day, I must be staying in bed. So I try to learn something every day. So, you're a lot younger than
Yeah, I actually was going to comment on, and actually thank you for being so honest about it, right? That you didn't know, and that was still the stigma, even, 30 years after, 40 years after this first started hitting. And, even in the public health arena, to still have that stigma. But it just goes to show that, through understanding and that you can find that, that it doesn't have to have that stigma. So I appreciated you sharing that and being honest up here.
It's all about
important.
education,
Yeah.
educating the public and educating ourselves, because I will be honest, I didn't know much about it. I mean, I knew there was medication, but I didn't know how good of medication we have now. So there is a lot of education that we have to do to kind of bring that stigma down.
Yeah, and because of your honesty, that will help other people to see that too, right? Versus someone just coming in and say, well, you shouldn't have to worry about it or whatever. But you saying that is going to be a huge impact on other people having more understanding and getting better educated on it. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Very much. Now we got more on it, right?
A little bit.
Okay.
One more set.
No, that's
I
okay.
just,
Hey.
we have such an amazing team. The last project that Laura highlighted really demonstrates how we had staff that were being pulled in lots of different directions during COVID, and then they'd be out intermittently. Different people might catch something, and to have backup, we are now combing through our entire department to make sure every single role has at least 2 deep, and we're trying to plan for 3 deep. Some programs we can't quite get there, but sometimes it's a process to get someone connected to a state system, for example, to be able to do that. So going back to the strategic plan, we are now in kind of a next round of strategic planning. The tentative timeline is to release it fall of next year. We will have meetings with all levels of staff again, doing that SWOT analysis. It is a shorter period of time than we did the first round because we don't have to go start from scratch for sure. But we are going to be researching and upgrading our performance management system. We need something that's a little bit more robust because we have a lot more projects that are going on now that people are getting the hang of this. Right. And there is a full report available around the completion of our current strategic plan on our webpage. So I encourage you to take a look at that if you have an opportunity. Any questions?
Oh, that's it. Just looking at my
All
PowerPoint.
right.
No, I just thank you for working so long for us. I mean, I think that's so important. Help the stability of any of our programs, longevity when these take it to the heart like he did. I'm going to move up and do something else, to help our people. And so I just thank all of you. Any other board member comments? Being none, thank you so much. Keep up the great work. Item 6D.
6D, discussion and consideration of amendment to classifications plan as listed on the agenda.
Good morning,
Again.
Michelle May with Human Resources. Good morning, Chairman, members of the board. Sarah Boss is also here, as well as this is a dual presented item, if you will. She will be available, I know, if there are any specific questions, and that was kind of a nice segue with that last item, speaking of communicable diseases. This particular item is brought for you for your consideration to amend our classification plan to add a senior epidemiologist position within
Say that 3 times real fast.
Right? If I say it slowly, I can do it. So with the need for public health to have additional specific positions related to epidemiology, this request was brought forward. And this was actually budgeted in the public health budget for this fiscal year. The classification still needed to be established. So that's essentially what we're bringing for your consideration today. The Civil Service Commission did approve this recommendation for the job description and is recommending the salary placement as you see before you and overtime exempt status. And then this would be placed in the mid-management bargaining unit as well. So the commission did hear this item and is recommending to your board for consideration. They heard this in September. So if you have any specific questions, I'm happy to answer, as I'm sure Sarah is as well.
Supervisor Pro Tem, Mr. Frazier.
Yes, I remember when Sarah first told us we needed an epidemiologist, and I was like, well, that sounds like fun to have, or maybe a want, not a need, and then like 3 months later into a pandemic. So this is something I think that we absolutely need to have, and it is a must-have, not a want list. So thank you for ever bringing it. What foresight that you had. I don't know if you knew what was going on in China when that happened, but so I've moved to approve this item.
I'll second.
Got a second? Any public comment on this? And then none from the board, I guess, so roll
None
call.
online.
Huh? Oh, nothing online?
None
I'm
online.
sorry. Thank you.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Gonzalez?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Chairman Wheeler?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Thank you so much. 6E.
Set salary for peace officers and related classifications, department heads, and unclassified employees as listed on the agenda.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Any public comment?
We never give Susan the
Any
opportunity
questions?
to
Sorry.
present.
Any
That's
questions?
okay. If you enjoy all the information we've presented,
It
that's
means
fine.
you did a very good board letter.
Yeah.
Right. Any
Agree.
questions from you?
Nothing from me?
Okay, I don't see none for the public. Anything online?
Nobody online.
Okay, roll call, please.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Gonzalez?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Chairman Wheeler?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
6F.
6F, peace officers and related classification salary study implementation as listed on the agenda.
Good morning, Chairman, members of the board.
Yeah.
Susan Carter, reporting from Human Resources. This should be the very final item to be presented to you regarding our class and comp study. But the first recommended action before you is basically requesting that you approve the step placement process that was negotiated with the bargaining units, and you utilize that same process for the department heads that were a part of that peace officer and class comp study. And then the second recommended action is actually a cleanup item. Unfortunately, we inadvertently did not include the position of supervising code enforcement officer on the side letter for the mid-management unit when you ratified it last month. We contacted the unit, we discussed it with them, and that's why we're bringing it to your board today, just to make sure that you are ratifying it, or we're codifying the ratification for that particular person as well.
Good. Okay. Questions from the board? Seeing none, any public comment? Any public comment on the phone, on the internet?
Nobody online.
What's your pleasure, board?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Supervisor Gonzalez?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Chairman Wheeler?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much. Okay, pending legislation.
We've got
We got a letter.
the other item.
That we added on. Thank you.
Oh, good.
I got two of them. Or you want me to sign one of them for the?
Chairman Karen has the one that you need to sign. That was a mistake giving you two, but it does say the same thing. And one of the reasons why this is the governor's favorite font was because the draft version of this letter that we used had some unusual coding in it, so we had to redo it. So we decided to do it in the governor's favorite font here. So this is just a letter addressed to MCTC for your consideration for the chairman to sign to support the Reconnecting Communities pilot program, which primarily has to do with the State Route 145 area around downtown and the Downtown Main Street project that the city's working on. And as listed in the letter, lists the different types of accesses that they would like to work with MCTC and the state on in that area.
Okay, any questions from the board? Any questions from the public? What's your pleasure, board?
Move for approval?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Gonzalez?
Yes.
Supervisor
Sorry.
Frazier?
I'm so used to seconding.
Supervisor, Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Chairman Wheeler?
Yes, I thought you could say
Passes
no
5-0.
and say heck with it. Number 9, Mr. Dave Rogers.
Nothing to report.
Mr. Brett Frazier.
In other pending legislation, SB 1046 was signed by Governor Newsom, so we can get rid of those pesky bags next to produce. Because, I mean,
Thank God.
we're taking care of the really important stuff up there. I have nothing else to report.
I just wanted to, well, I went to my grandson's 2 soccer games Saturday, wore me out, so I went home and took a nap. But also, our CAO, Jay Varney, sent me a letter from Governor Newsom that appointed our Catherine Rigby to the judgeship early. And so she is now starting, I guess, pretty quickly, right, Jay?
Yeah, I think she's appointed effective the date of that release. And there was, I think, 6 other seats statewide on there that were also filled.
Yeah, there was more, but I cared about our county. Letty.
You beat me to the punch. I was going to mention that, and I was going to ask that we send her a letter of congratulatory letter or something. I thought it would be a nice
You
gesture.
draw it up and I'll sign it?
Sure, we can do that.
Sounds good to me. Right, Carla?
And then we're having participating tomorrow with Madera Unified and with the Public Health Department in the Safe Walk to School Day. So tomorrow morning at 6:30 a.m. we'll be at McNally Park walking to Sierra Vista School.
Your high heels?
No. No.
I've got
Oh, yes.
one more. I just realized tomorrow there is a town hall for education on Measure T, I believe it is, Rob? Is that T?
I think so. It's a measure. I think it's the only measure on the ballot
Yeah.
that we have.
So at the Ranchos Library and on Zoom, starting at 6 p.m. tomorrow.
Yeah, we had one last night. Rob and I were on it. So, yeah, I think our staff and everybody, and Rob did a great job. Mr. Rob.
Yeah, I just like to, it was apparent today before the meeting started, or actually I think it started and we were walking to closed session, that there were people that were, some of my colleagues were a little surprised that I had not announced the hiring of a new chief of staff. And so I'd like to now make that official. I do have a new chief of staff. His name is Nick Salinas. Nick grew up here.
Approved by us?
It's like deja vu.
Deja vu.
I think we're going to vote no. I mean, he's just jumping around. I mean,
Actually, this is your former chief of staff's twin brother, Rick Salinas.
Exactly.
I think it is. So.
Rick left, but this is his twin brother, Nick. They look remarkably alike and act alike, and we're
work alike.
We're delighted to have Nick back with the county, and it's great. His office is all squared away, and even knows where the bathrooms are, so that's a bonus.
That's
So,
really, you don't have to.
good.
educate.
Welcome back.
Yep. Welcome back, buddy. Mr. Jay Varney.
Thank you for introducing your new employee. I appreciate that. I don't have anything, however, County Council will be bringing an update for the board on another bill that was signed, AB 2449, at a future meeting, and it has some little differences and nuances to the Brown Act and what the board can and can't do in meetings. I think it should be an improvement, and it has fewer requirements than, I'll call it, the historic Brown Act, but we'll wait and have County Council brief us absolutely on that at a meeting, most likely in November.
Okay. County Council.
Yes, thank you, Chair and members of the board. Just to piggyback on that, now you're going to have 3 options to conduct your meetings with some element of remoteness to it. And we thought, rather than a staff report, actual item to answer questions, quick one, but answer questions, and maybe even decide how you want to go forward and and answer all,
Like make
but
an
this
ordinance
new
for it?
one is effective January 1, 2023. And so we have a little bit of time to discuss it, so.
So we can
There-
actually make an ordinance that says which one we want to pick or the options we have?
We're going to do it by, I believe it's by resolution, but yeah, we're going to have some options. The traditional way where you have to post, your location and let the public in. The AB 361's flexibility that you keep reaffirming those resolutions, that will remain an option if your board wants it. And now AB 2449, it provides a third option. You don't have to put the location of where you'll be. However, you will have to state certain things. We'll have to put stuff on the agenda. You'll have to state whether there's anyone over 18 in the room, for example, just so that there is some element of transparency, like who's in the room, who.
How about old parts like me?
Are there any, for example, I imagine, I want to look a little bit more into the legislative history, but I imagine it's so that if there's special interests, that might
it's
be,
interesting.
So yeah, it's very interesting. I'd like to unpack it. CAO and I talked about unpacking it a little bit more for this board and having a discussion and an understanding coming up soon.
Great. Karen?
Nothing to report, thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
So, speaking of future meetings, which one is on the road? Because I know we're not here.
November the 8th, and it'll be at the North Fork Rancheria.
So like last year.
Community Building.
Okay.
And I talked to him this morning, and he hasn't got back to me yet, I don't think, and he thought it was open.
I actually, let me add to that. November 1st will be a regular meeting here in our chambers at 9 a.m.
Okay. So we're
November
not.
1st.
No, we're going to do it here.
So that's not going to be at the,
Oh,
okay.
Thank you.
cancel.
Okay.
Brett, you got anything else?
No, I was just excited with this AB 2449 to finally act like the legislature, because it won't affect us, but we can still vote on something that won't affect us for years to come. So it'll be nice to feel like I'm part of the state legislature.
Be just like them.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, this meeting is so adjourned. We'll do the other one in about 10 minutes, if that's okay. Agenda review.